All right, guys. Hello and welcome all to our channel, Vaidya's Chess Hub. And today we are going to do something really special. We are going to solve some tactical positions, and we are going to discuss how we want to go ahead with our knockout tournament. Well, there is this knockout tournament that we want to organize. So I would probably ask you questions pertaining to when it is that your final exams are getting over. Accordingly, we'll have to plan it. I'm going to share an image with you, a bracket that probably I shared on WhatsApp earlier. It was about the pairings and how the stars of today were at some stage just only a beginner. Okay, and how they also had their times when they struggled. We will also take a look at the video today. I want to discuss the pawn promotion in detail with you, because I have noticed that students go wrong. Even the seniors go wrong when it comes to pawn promotion. When it is done over the board, we are so accustomed now to things online, but yeah, they do that. Okay. Now, thank you so much. Soumitra totally likes the new settings, and well, I'm happy that you like it. We are going to go ahead and do all of that. The positions are absolutely interesting. They are, they're compiled specifically for today's episode. Mind you, have created special chat windows also, like I think we did that when we were doing the trial stream, I suppose. So basically, yeah, sure, everybody is like that. So tactical positions coming up for you. But before that, let's see what people have to say in the chat corner. So let's see what the chat window looks like. So this is what the chat window looks like that we have created, and you bet that you love this. And now this is, I've taken really some efforts to put everything together, so surely it's good that you are saying that the new settings are simply awesome. We're going to stick to them. And I have an important question. I will ask that as a point of discussion when we eventually take that chill break that we do. Okay, so now let's head straight to the. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, by the way, I would go ahead and put in some new graphics also in the days to come. Definitely, I'm going to do that. So this is awesome. I'm going to put some new settings, especially some encouraging words, punch after a good game, a blast after something nice, or something like that. There are some ideas at the moment. Let us now go to the, by the way, now this reminds me that if you really like the new settings, you're happy with the way things are, make sure that you press that like button. Make sure you do that, okay? Because believe me, I've really worked hard to put everything in place here. Let's go straight now to the training room, and well, there are positions, right? So let's say this is white to play the first position, and I believe that this should be an interesting positions. These all are interesting positions. Let's target 15 out of 15. Let's say we'll set it for that. And well, when you type the answer, make sure that you type the entire variation. It's white to play here. Take a good look at it. The knights are super active for white. Take a look at the material. Here you have queens for both, two rooks for both, two minor pieces. But white has two knights, black has the bishop. But look at the rook and the queen and the knight. Well, they are all ready to attack the black king. I've always said the activity, the piece activity is so important. Okay, thank you so much. Everybody is appreciative of the settings. And now, well, let's see if you can find out the answer to this one. Now I'm going to definitely encourage you to take some time. Okay, let's see who's the first one. Chinmay. It's not blur. The stream is 100% perfect, guys. 100% perfect. If it's blur, it's because of the net connection on your side. The stream is 100% perfect. Connection problems at your end. My stream is just perfect. All right, so people think that knight f6 is the first move. Okay, so otherwise we can just take the king, take the king. Okay, take the queen. Soumitra was about to take, the queen. Okay, so knight f6 check, bishop takes f6, and queen takes, and then king takes, and rook h3, and bishop h4, rook takes h4 is checkmate. That's what is the calculation. Chinmay has done that. Monitor is here. Monitor, what's up? So knight g5 is Namish's first move. He thinks knight g5 check. The pawn is pinned. So he thinks that that's a great thing. Okay, let's go with our knight and give this check. Anyway, this pawn is pinned. So the king would then have to go to h8, but he has simply no idea what happens after that. So we need to calculate that. However, if you think about what Saumitra and Chinmay have said, I don't know if Vyong agrees with that, but they think that the first move is definitely knight to f6 check. It's a fork, mind you, it's a fork. So you move the king, will take the queen anyway, or as Saumitra put it, let's take the king for a change. So knight f6 check, then bishop takes, and then what happens is you go for a checkmate. After queen takes h6, king takes h6. So this is their line of action. The king has to take. Okay, the king has to take. Not that the king would deny that kind of a sacrifice. And then you have rook moving over to h3 to give a check. The bishop can only just block the check once, but the rook will still go ahead and deliver the final checkmate. Hey, Mohit is here. Oh, sorry. I always get confused between the Patels. Avdut has his own profile picture on his account. I have not noticed that. That's interesting. That I had no idea about it. So this is for me. For me, okay? Sorry, I did not know that Avdut has his own picture on his profile. All right, then I think we are going to go ahead and proceed that way. So let's go for knight f6 check. And in the game, what happened was king h8, and then still there is mate in 7. But logically, I mean, that's game over. So let's go ahead and find out. If bishop takes, then there's mate in 3, queen takes h6, king takes, rook h3 check. And notice how this knight has stopped the escape routes to the king. We've taken a good look at such positions where it's the check by the rook. And therefore, this bishop will come in to block the check, but no support, and this is checkmate. However, now for the seniors, the main, that's why I've shortlisted these positions for today. Well, the opponent did calculate that if I take the knight, it's forced checkmate. Well, it is forced checkmate even after king h8 and losing the queen. Now, my question to you is, do we take the queen, or is there a better continuation here? Guys, this is interesting. Do I take the queen, or is there a better continuation here? Think about it. So it's white to play again, and at this point, king h8 has been played. So now do you think that we need to take the queen here? Vihang has calculated something. He thinks knight takes g7 is better. So he says knight takes g7, king takes g7, knight e8 check. There's a big line he has calculated. Rook c e8. The rook on c takes it. He says rook takes g6 check. And it's eventually checkmate in about 6 moves or maybe 7. So Vihang actually has done some massive calculation. That is just brilliant. Rayansh says he's a little late because he was making a science VCO. Guys, please take care of your spellings. Okay, so knight takes g7 is absolutely correct. I'm so happy with that calculation. You don't have to take the queen. Knight takes g7. Now, if you are wondering why we are letting the queen just escape, the queen could just, come to f7 and that's it. There's escape. But queen takes h6 is check and mate. To be mindful of such things. So it's not about, saving the queen or something. It's this checkmate threat. And how to stop this checkmate? Now queen takes h6 is a checkmate threat. The only way to stop that is for either king to take or for the rook to take. I wonder which line Young considered. I think he said king takes g7. Well, there's also line with rook takes g7, by the way. So this is amazing calculation by Vihang. Let me just show what he has said first. So in his line, he's calculated that king takes. So let's go ahead. If king takes, even if rook takes is checkmate, I'll show you. There's knight takes e8. Yeah, now we have to take the queen. It's check. Rook c e8. Well, doesn't matter which rook takes it really. It really doesn't matter. Because now there is this wonderful sacrifice followed by this capture, and then rook takes d6. King h7. King h7 will be immediate mate, right? King h7, queen takes pawn mate. That is queen takes h6 mate. So eventually that is the way it's going to work. Eventually. So let's see how that. Oh, queen takes is better. King h5, h7 doesn't matter. Where 5 check. Versus mate. Okay, fine. However, now let us take a look at what happens if rook takes. That is very important. Rook can also take it. Please remember that. Okay. Vyang says I've done this position, and it's surprising that he has done that. So my database is up to date. This is the first time I'm sharing it with you guys. Now from here it's mate in 2. Now the rising stars should take active, part in this discussion. The seniors just allow your juniors to come up with this answer. Now here it is again white to play, and it's mate in just 2 moves here. Mate in just 2 moves. So Mohit, Rayansh, Namish, Hitesh, those rising stars. Chinmay, yeah, Chinmay also is a rising star. So he is the first one. Go ahead and actually type the answer. He says it's pretty simple. Queen takes the pawn. Queen takes h6 is a check. Notice this knight's not going to allow king to come to the g file. First move is rook blocking it, and then queen takes with the help of this knight. Queen takes h7 is just checkmate. That is just brilliant. Okay, so we are done with the first position. Very good. Arya Mahakal, Namish, well done. Rayansh, they all are doing great job here. I must say, that is just brilliant. So this is for you guys. Awesome, 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 guys. Really, really well done. Super work. Super work there. All right, now time to go to the next one. Immediately, of course. Let us see what we have as our next position. Is it white to play or black to play? I don't know. It's black to play here, so let me flip the board. Well, these are the sort of positions that normally look easy, but they are not. At least I don't find them easy. I'll tell you why I'm saying that. This is black to play, make no mistake, okay? This is black to play. And the reason is quite simple. You feel that you have the opponent king, but then somehow there is a way that the king always keeps finding some squares. So clearly, at least I don't relish such positions. Yes, eventually you will win. But then there are so many, sometimes even, the checkmates don't look like it's a checkmate. Or maybe it is just a thing with me. You can type more in the chat. And the monitor is here, and so right. Saumitra is so right. Well, Saumitra, you definitely, deserve, appreciation, because you knew that he had his own ID, or rather his own photo as his DP. Brilliant. And indeed, that is the case. So I'm very happy. By the way, Patil versus Patil is the next cricket match that we have planned. So sure, why not? It's black to play here. After this, we will spend some time on the chat where I will ask you some questions, then take a short break, and then for 2 minutes, not more than that, and then we'll restart. I was wondering if my nephew is going to be here. His name is Sharva, and I'm sure, guys, you have seen Sharva, or not seen Sharva, but exactly seen his presence in the tournament. He is about 1200, 1400 player, but he had some school work, and that's why he only played 2 rounds. Sharva, how many of you noticed that in the tournament? So if he is here, maybe he can send in a hi if he is here, if he is able to, log in, but I'm sure that he will be here. Monitor has come up with a cool name. He says Patil Premier League, PPL. Okay. All right. Right. Hey, I know five. What I know five? What is Kavish saying here in the chat? Guys, black to play. What do you think is the first position here? Rather, first move here. Beg your pardon, not position. First move here. It looks like a simple. It is a forced checkmate, by the way. Make no mistake. So if the seniors are wondering, is it one of those positions where you just get material? No, no. In a few moves, I am not saying it's 3 or 4 moves, but yeah, soon it's going to be checkmate. The king is surrounded by our pieces. There's a black pawn on h3, knight, rook, bishop, or the other rook is ready to come into action. So, and the king is vulnerable on g4. So I like that. Anyway, it's mate. It is going to be checkmate. Vyang with massive calculation says bishop d6 check. Let's start with that. Bishop d6 check. Now, Vyang, I don't know how you have done these positions. I'm dealing with them for the first time, and there are like a million positions. How on earth have you specifically done this position? Don't know. Anyway, because I have scanned my database enough to make sure that the positions I'm dealing with you are the positions that I'm dealing with for the first time myself, let alone doing it with you some time back. So maybe online you might have done the positions, but it's quite interesting to note that you've still done these positions. Okay. So bishop d6, he says it's not bishop d6 check, it's only bishop d6, how we should start this. Now I like a better idea. Since I am somebody who loves finding moves which are forced, I'm going to disagree with that bishop d6, although bishop d6 could also be winning because the line he has said, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Bishop d6, he says, and f3, and then you have king f5 check, king takes g4, then bring our king up the board, and eventually there will be checkmate. However, someone who is very keen on having a direct approach, what I like to do is that you start with a check. Always remember, this is so important. Hey, Suvra Das is here, our dear friend from Kolkata. That's the hot territory right now, thanks to all the election rallies. It's like some kind of a gala. So anyway, Suvra Das, we are doing this position. This is our second position and it's black to play. I'm going to give you a star. So let's see if now Vyang can rethink this position, because I would like to believe that the better and a more direct approach is bishop e2 check. So I would like to say, do some calculation with bishop e2 check. I like the more direct approach. Bishop d6 is winning. Yes, okay. But it's not direct. It's sort of a waiting move. That's what we call it, is it not? So bishop e2 check is a check. Check comes first. So the juniors will also find it quite entertaining. Think it that way. Okay. So what's up? Bishop e2 check. So let's see if you can rethink. And Chinmay has done that. So Chinmay has done that. He says bishop e2 check, and he says king would move, but Radesh has said red arrow. Like as if there were a few arrows to choose from. The red is the only one I had given you. So bishop e2 check is obviously the first correct move. Bishop d6, what Vyang said, is also correct. Make no mistake. I'm not saying that that is not the move. Okay, that is also a spectacular winning move, but the more direct approach. And you know, when you have such situations, you want to start with something that looks more direct. That is why bishop e2 check. Chinmay says king can take the knight. So king takes g5 is the line that he has thought of. However, there could be f3 line as well. Yes, king g3 blunder because knight e4 is checkmate. Wow, how brilliantly was that calculated? Is that so? No, but then you have king f4, right? Rayansh, you have king f4. You missed that. Rayansh just yeah, I think that's a mistake, right? You have king f4. Anyway, he says that I just typed it and it was all by mistake. Suvrat Das, any answer from you? And by the way, how is the corona situation in Bengal? I talked about the elections, and maybe that's the reason that simply that the corona situation has taken a backseat. Grunt, our rising star, says he's probably thinking on the same lines as that of Chinmay. So king takes the knight, then there is bishop d6. Or somewhere down the line, you have to play bishop d6. Sure. But then there is f3 as well. Let's see what these guys are saying first. Okay, let's look at the variation that the rising stars are talking about. Bishop e2 check. Then there is king takes g5 is their calculation. Now mate in 3 here. Bishop d6, I told you at some point of time we'll have to do that, because I told you that in the variations that most students have typed, well, they're missing out on f4. Like Rayansh also thought earlier knight e4 was mate if king g3, but no. So bishop d6 at some point of time has to come in, and it does. Now whatever white plays, it doesn't matter, it's mate. Let's give some candidate moves to white. What's the king would try to escape? Let's do that. What else do you really want? Okay, now there is bishop f3, because now the threat is rook h5 checkmate, and it's almost impossible to stop. It's almost, not almost, it is impossible to stop. Now look at this. This threat is rook h5 checkmate, and there is no way to stop it. The power of such moves, there is no way to stop it. That's it. The game is all done. So let's get back to this, and let's give white some other move. Mind you, when I say some other move, rook h5 is already checkmate. Rook h5 is already checkmate. Okay, that's the threat. So when I say some other move, I mean I could say f3, but then that's of no use. Bishop takes f3, and then again there is no way you can stop this checkmate. So yes, bishop d6 was right, but I would start with bishop e2. And now going back to that point where I was saying that after bishop e2 check, immediately white could play f3. Is it not? Now the mate is a little away. So let's save the knight. And you have, and then white could play anything, is it not? So let's say, what is the good move you want here? The knight cannot come anywhere. Maybe here, but that's just a piece loss. It's hard to even recommend a few good moves here. Let's say that's the safest move. And now there is knight d4 check. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask you to calculate, seniors, at a point. King e4. Now knight to g6. Let's bring the knight back. We want to set up a checkmate here. So now token moves. Let's give some token moves. Yeah, mate in one here. Cannot give token moves, right? It's just f5. Oh, humiliation mate can also happen here. Hang on. If white does go ahead and after this plays bishop, there's rubbing salt on wounds. There's f5 mate, the mate that we all love. pawn checkmating the king. F5 is checkmate, and that's why I said that sometimes mates, in such positions, they don't look like it is checkmate, but it is. Unbelievable as it may seem, it doesn't look like it's checkmate. The king is on e4. I don't know what the knight on b1 and the rook on a1 are doing. Practically, they have not moved this entire game and mate with a pawn. So yeah, that can happen. So seniors, I'm sure that you are enjoying these calculations. It's very important. All right. So now we will move to the next position. By the way, bishop d6, what Vyang said, is also winning. That there is no doubt about. Now what we will do is we will have some chat going on. Definitely, no doubt about that. And there is a question I have in my mind to ask you. I put that question up. Enjoy the music. Okay, so guys, you were saying that your exams will end. Most of you guys said that they'll end by 15. That's 2 days from now. Although I was really shocked that there was one entry where the student said that their exam will end sometime in the month of April. What do you mean sometime? The reason why I was asking you this is we want to have the knockout tournament, and so I want to have the knockout tournament at a point when everybody will be free to play. I don't want somebody, anyone rather, to be under the stress of the exams and then participate. I want everybody to be relaxed. I want everybody to be chilled out. And then it makes sense to have that knockout tournament. That is why I wanted the last date. Most of you say that it's by 15th of April. Some of you say that your exams are already done. And I would like to believe that there are many over here who probably are getting promoted anyway. I'm right, am I not? Surely. You are there are a lot of guys who are getting promoted. So those guys, there is no last date. They're already done. So next time, well, as soon as probably we enter the chat screen, let me know when we can have that knockout tournament. Let's say, what about 20th? Let's take a look at the calendar. Okay, 20th is Tuesday. Today is 13th, and the next Tuesday is 20th. So I need some time to make your pairings on WhatsApp. I believe I've shared an image with you, and there's no doubt that you would love reading the pairings, especially the rising stars, those who are new to this concept of knockout tournaments. Let's now get back to the training room. Let's do one more position and then let's take a break for 2 minutes. It's white to play. It is going to be white to play, and the seniors should allow the juniors some time. Let's say the first 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, because it is forced checkmate in about 3 moves, I should say. Let's see if they can calculate things on their own. Else, of course, the seniors should start posting their answers. So let's get back to the training room, and by the way, we're going to call that training room. The scene that I've created. This is exactly what it is. And so we have this position. It's white to play, so not black to play. It's white to play, and this position is forced checkmate. Let's see if the juniors can find out what is the winning move here. So what's the position like here? Queens for both, 2 rooks for both, 3 minor pieces for both. White has 6 pawns, so does black. But look at the white queen on h6. Already under attack by that fianchetto bishop that's on g7. So Riyansh also now in the chat says he's done. Shield tournament on leeches. Now, please update me on what that exactly is. I have not done that previously. 15th April again, that's the date I keep getting. Vyang says 1st to 9th and 11th are getting promoted, so he's super excited. Yeah. So let's say Saumitra is saying sure, and I would like to believe in the chat when he says sure, that's for the knockout tournament, is it not? So the next Tuesday, let me get your attention back to this position as far as the rising stars are concerned. This is mate, checkmate, a forced sequence. Let's see if you can calculate that. Meanwhile, I would like to update that Jai has taken the cricket app very seriously, and the designing is in progress. Pragya with the first calculation. So why is Namish saying nah, not in that case? What do you mean by not in that case? Why? Pragya said queen takes g7, we take that. Then after king takes, then there is knight f5, which is a double check. King h8 and knight h6 is checkmate. This is the suffocation checkmate. Well, Riyansh has also, gone on to tell us the type. He says that it's suffocation checkmate, queen takes. So here is what they think the answer is. I don't know whether it is right or wrong. That's for you to find out. So let's take the bishop and give the check. And after king takes the queen, which is forced, then you play knight f5 check. So we will go ahead and give knight f5 check, which will be a double check. It will be a check by the knight and also check by this bishop. Long range piece all the way from B2. And we are now joined in, I believe, by Swaroop. A big hello to you. A big hello. And then the king goes to G8 probably. And then Pragya says that knight H6 would probably be checkmate. That's what they're saying. So Swaroop, how are you? How is life? And how are things going from your end? If you all agree with that, type that in the chat so I know everybody's thinking that Pragya is right here. Mind you, the double check would also be from the square E6. Now, what does Reyansh say about it? Reyansh also agrees knight F5 double check and then the knight H6 checkmate. So Soumitra says a tip for all juniors from my side. And what's that? All of you are improving exponentially. Compliment from the seniors is always welcome. So I suggest you start playing a lot of games in order to keep this level of progress. And that is a fantastic suggestion coming from our senior. And so this one is for Soumitra. Way to go. So senior is not just somebody who just takes care of his own game and does nothing for the overall development. He is very clear on this, and I will second him on this, that if you juniors have really got to take your game to the next level, play as many games as possible. If you remember, a few days ago, it was, I believe, a couple of days ago, Chitij actually did play the Ultra Bullet games, the tournament, and mind you, there were tons of game within that one tournament. Ultra Bullet is 15-second tournament, you know that, 50-second per game. So this is exactly what you have to do. Play a lot of games, get as much exposure as you can. And Soumitra is absolutely right about the advice that he has offered. No, by the way, happy Gudi Padwa to you, Swaroop. No doubt about that. We on the group have been wishing each other since morning. But yes, by the way, Subra Das could tell us if it's also Navratri time in Bengal. Normally, in some parts of India, for this day marks the start of Navratri, not the Navratri that we here in Mumbai celebrate. This is also Navratri, the start of the new year. So let me know. And Swaroop, any updates about the lockdown? What's the situation like? 90 games is next level. Okay, 90 games is next level. 9 days. What do you mean by 9 days? Lockdown of 9 days? What's that? I didn't get that. Pragya, what are you saying about 9 days? Very good. Mohit acknowledging that message by Soumitra and says, thank you, Soumitra. Oh, that is awesome. No, Swaroop, we did not get 3 wins yesterday because yesterday wasn't the tournament where Omkar sir was playing at all. He has some issues with the OBS and recording lectures. Once he is with us, then again that thing will start. The new thing, Swaroop, is that we are going to have a knockout tournament, and I'm going to share an image with you. I'm going to talk about it. We are going to talk about a pawn promotion video. Okay. Oh, 9 days. Okay, Navratri. Okay, so Pragya Dikshit is talking about the Navratri. Fine then. And by the way, now I think we've established that what we see on the screen is indeed, indubitably the answer. So queen takes g7 check. Now that not that black can say no to this sacrifice, there's nothing else to do, he has to take it. Now mind you, as I said, there are 2 ways to give the double check. Both will be double checks. Make no mistake. In any case, the bishop will definitely, oh, that diagram does look good on the board, by the way. Some comments about that diagram, the way it looks on the board is just awesome. So there are 2 ways this is a double check. However, if you just become greedy and then give the check on e6 hoping to win the queen, well, you have also just sacrificed your queen. So that doesn't make much sense. Swaroop says, I'm very close to Dombivli, so I guess it's all the same. Anyway, you are very close to us, but you know how much the Dombivlikars miss the Navavarsha Swagat Yatra. Swaroop, have you heard of that? Swaroop, have you heard of that? Being a Dombivlikar, is so close to our hearts. The Navavarsha Swagat Yatra. Man, anyway, yeah, ABO blood group. The blood group chart. Sure, the universal donor, the diamond shape, that is. Now, therefore, knight f5 check. The forced move, because it's a double check, now the golden rule. Again, the rising stars can go ahead and type that line. Monitor can. So, double check. The king has to move. That is the power of the double check. The king has to move. That's it. The only way His Majesty can ever move is to this g8 square. That's it. And now knight h6 is a very, sad mate. Because really, I mean, look at the position of the black king, the long range piece. That's why, the bishop actually acts as a missile. I've always thought of bishop as a missile. Long range piece inflicts great damage, and that is checkmate, I hope. And in the chat now, the seniors can tell me if you really found the entire answer all by yourself. That is, if you did that, wonderful, no doubt about that. I think time to take a short break. Within that break of 2 minutes, I'll have a question for you, and I'll see you at the end of these 2 minutes. We'll take a good break. Okay, so please enjoy. All right, guys. So I hope that you've assessed the situation, and then whether it is okay or not to have the tournament on the 22nd. Some people are saying okay. I don't think that anybody so far has said that 22 is not okay for them. 20. Namish says that 24 is a perfect timing. He has added the word perfect, and who knows, we could well be in the lockdown at that stage. Nobody knows. Maybe we at that stage we could be in the lockdown pretty much there. No doubt. Could be possible from today. Who knows? Oh, Mohit wants to know what is the knockout tournament. Before we go ahead and do the next position and go into the training room, I asked something to Swaroop. Did I get an answer to that? Do you know about the Navavarsha Swagat Yatra, Sarup? That's a big deal here in Dombivli. That is a big deal. We love that. The entire youth of the city gathers at the Fadke Road, which is like the thing, the place to be on that auspicious day. So I don't know. So Samitra says, well, I have my school. So I said it is for the whole day. Then I have to take back my decision. Well, I have a school. Well, so Samitra, by what day will you be free? Earlier I thought you would be free by 15th, 12th or what? What school and what timing? Is there a specific timing that we should? And mind you, here is something that you must remember. The tournament will not go on for the entire day, and the tournament will not be over within a day. Mark my words, this is a knockout tournament, so there will be phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4, and then gradually it will come to an end. It is not like the Swiss League tournament where you are there in it for a couple of hours and then it is over. No sir, there is no such provision in leeches to create a knockout tournament. So we will have to get it organized. Like we'll have people in that particular phase to play on that particular day. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. So it will not be over in one day. All those interested should tell me that they are interested, and accordingly we will plan it out. Yes, it's not just a common road, Ayush. It's the most happening road. Sarup says, I know, Fadke Road, the best part in India. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Sarup, you have impressed us. And well, later on, I'm going to go ahead and really applaud that. Okay, there's no doubt about that. Saumitra says, I'm free after 24th. So let's take a look at the calendar again. So after 24th, he is free. So if that's the case, then we'll have to probably think about the last week of April. Although Saumitra could let us know what are the timings of his school, because as I said, it's not for the entire day, for a couple of hours or whatever it is. It's just a phase. Because it is knockout, at a given point of time, you have to play a game, you win, then you'll have to wait for the next phase, because then together all the players are coming from here and there, and then your next round will start. So I hope that Saumitra understands this progression, and let me know, what we can do. If it's possible even before 24th, let me know the timing. Now Jay is lucky. Yeah, we are talking about our great Fadke Road. So Jay is very lucky because he stays on the Fadke Road. Imagine your residence on Fadke Road. Awesome. Jay, you're so lucky, man. Awesome. Anyway, this next position that I'm going to share with you is not a checkmate position. I repeat, the next position is white to play, and it is not checkmate position. It's white to play. So let me take you now straight to the training room. Here we are. So this is white to play. It is not a checkmate position, but surely white has something that will win the tournament. Surely. So let me know what you think about this. Position is quite balanced here. Queens for both. A rook for both. 3 minor pieces for both. 5 pawns for white. 6 pawns for black. So pawn deficit for white, but white is going to win here. Okay. What do you think about this, guys? Yeah, we'll do that. That's a good suggestion by Saumitra. He says that it is better we go ahead and add the words training room somewhere at the top. We'll see if that works well. So this is the training room scene. So why not title that? Fair enough. See if we can manage it. And also then if you have a suggestion, tell me what side, what corner it goes. Because we have already got a lot of graphics in place and a lot more graphics are going to come in. So Pragya, I think with the first answer, she says knight takes f7. Let's go for that, she says. Knight takes f7 is not so good. Pragya, knight takes f7 is not so good because there's rook f8. There is rook f8 and that is not good. This is not an all-out attack on the king. Think again. Anyone from P&T colony? That's a question by Swarup. Swarup, reserve these questions for the chat corner. Wait for us to get to the chat corner. We will chat whatever it is that you want to ask in the chat corner for those 2 minutes or 3 minutes of time. Save your chat for that. At the moment, let's get back to this position. Bishop d6, you cannot stop queen takes f7. Bishop d6 and you cannot stop queen takes. So I don't think that's the answer. Not something. Well, I have a question for Soumitra. If you are happy with bishop d6, well, why not bishop c7? I am surprised at that, Soumitra. I'm really surprised. Not very surprised, a little surprised at that. A little surprised. My question is, if you are happy with bishop d6, okay, then why not go for bishop c7? That's, I think, a better idea. Okay, let me know. By the way, let me know in the chat if the new setup and settings are looking perfect on the screen. So Mitra, maybe you should tell me the stream was okay. So Mitra, you're pretty good at visualizing the moves. I think the idea is what you had. The queen takes f7, sure, but that's the point. If you have to get the bishop out, well then why not get the bishop out to c7? Jai, again, keep those chats for the chat corner. You know, we after two positions, we'll go to the chat corner. Jai, please keep that for the chat corner, okay? Reserve. I think that's the idea that we are going to follow, is it not? Let me do this, guys. Let me do this. Guys, I'm saying this. We now have a dedicated chat corner, okay? So that's where I've created the graphics for the chat. Within that time you can go ahead and chat whatever it is. Wait for that break. You can just go ahead and chit chat, chill yourself, and then later come back and do position. So whatever it is that you have to say, whatever it is that you have to ask, well, wait until that. At the moment, let's go again to the training room. Okay, so white to play was yes. Now Ayush nowadays says there's no doubt about settings. It's just awesome. There's no doubt about that, he says. And bishop c7 is just brilliant. And that is the best answer. So Pragya, your idea of f7 is actually correct, but don't start your execution with knight takes f7. But the better idea is bishop c7. But just go ahead and play bishop c7 attacking the queen. Now black has to take action. We always talk about direct approach. Well, this is the direct approach. Now black has to take some action here, and there is no way this queen here is in any position to influence this f7 square. I mean, take a look at how far the queen is from the f7 square, and she really cannot just come into the game, and that is a disaster. So she cannot do that. And so what's the best move for black here? Maybe black's best try is to go knight e5 attacking our queen instead. But then isn't that just a free piece? Yeah, bishop can just take that, right? Well, okay. Apart from that, let's say black saves the queen. If that happens, then there is queen takes f7 checking, h8 is forced. Now rook h4, which is forcing checkmate. And now again we have unleashed an attack on the queen because the rook moved out of the way there. The way to stop this mate now, h5. Can we stop this by h5? Let's say we play h5 to stop. The mate threat here was quite simple, guys. I'm sure you saw that. It's rook takes h7 checkmate. To stop that, let's say black plays h5. Now I think we can take this pawn, and now the threat is queen to h7 checkmate. That's it. That's done. This does it. After this, there is, well, black has some silly moves like queen takes f1 check, just postponing and postponing. Otherwise, there's nothing. So h5 doesn't stop it. h5 is important. I really hope that Hitesh is with us, because this is the kind of position, you know, Hitesh should study. And he made this mistake, Hitesh, for pushing the pawn and losing out on the support. Knight f6 is another try. Knight f6 is a better try, I should say. So he's bringing in a defender because the threat is otherwise rook takes h7 checkmate, is it not? So does that stop it? How about making a sacrifice here? How about doing this? Whoa! Guys, some attack, some comments about that. The bishop is attacked for a checkmate. The bishop is also pinned in a way. Should the bishop move, there is an X-ray checkmate on h7. This is some position. This is some position. Bishop e5. I think that seals the deal. Even if we had not sacrificed the knight on h7, I think bishop e5 still works. But after the sacrifice, it is even, you know, more noticeable. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Love that. So that's it. Bishop e5, and now notice that the bishop cannot move. This queen takes h7 checkmate. Rook takes h7 is also checkmate. That's it, guys. Brilliant work. Let me know if you really love this position. Yeah, no doubt about that. And that is exactly the graphics, the set of graphics that I'm talking about right now. So for example, here, if you know, this was the position, then I would have had that wow graphic, or what a move kind of a graphic, or something like that I'm preparing. So that's still in the development phase. And we'll move on now to the next position, after which we'll have our chat break, and then we can talk about anything that you want, but do answer my question if I pop up a question there. This one is white to play the next position, and it's, again, I would like to say that it is not one of those typical checkmate positions. All the best. Let's go back to the training room. White to play. The material looks okay. Queens for both, two rooks for both, two minor pieces for both. White has got 7 pawns and black has got 6 pawns. But look at black's king's position. h8, and we have got the rooks doubled up on the g file. Got the queen on g. It's all so clustered. Let's see if you can find out, okay? Yes, sometimes there might be a lag. Sometimes. There could be, I'm saying. But don't worry, it should sort itself out. Enjoy. What's the best move here? The best move. Shall I give you options? How about rook takes bishop? You like that move? Bishop takes, the rook takes bishop. Not good, right? White to play here. The material is quite balanced. We are a pawn up, done that. And looks like the major action is all on the G file. That there is no doubt about. Let's see who's the first one with some decent answer. Sarup says yesterday it was raining in Pune. Well, what about the Pune guys? They didn't mention this fact. Again, I'll say that you can keep this to chat. So in the chat, I will pop up this question. So what's the right start here? It's not a checkmate thing. I don't think it's checkmate. Well, Swaroop, you can try. Nobody has stopped you from trying. I mean, we will not exactly have you hanged if your answer is wrong. That's how you go about it. I mean, you don't play a tournament is fine, but then that you are a part of our family now. Come on, got to give a try. Come on. Nobody has come up with the answers so far. Surprised. Bishop takes g5. Now Mohit with the answer. He likes bishop takes g5. And that's the best line. That is the best line. Okay. Mind blowing. This one is for Mohit. Mohit, the rising star, has done the job. That is brilliant. That is just brilliant. So bishop takes g5. Again, I like the more direct approach. You're attacking the queen. So bishop takes has to be the move. And now rook takes. Did he mention rook takes, by the way, after that? Why will you play rook takes g5 and he will play queen? Happen, right? That will not happen. No. That will not happen. After this, Kavish, remember what I said. Any extracurricular chatting and wait for the chat corner. Then you do your chatting. I repeat, Kavish, just follow the protocols. Just wait. Just don't respond. Wait for the chat corner. And I would like to see how much Swaroop chats in the chat corner. Because if he thinks that making the moves is difficult, if chatting is so easy, well then keep yourself busy in the chat room. Okay. So rook takes g5. Should we play rook takes g5? Sure, right? Now there is a better idea here. Let's see if you can think about this. There's a better idea here. Believe me. This bishop on g5 is not going anywhere if we play queen h3. And that is the move I was looking for after the first obvious bishop g5. Okay? Yes, black has knight. That is absolutely right here. Let's go back. Knight to, if rook takes g3, then black has knight g3 check. And then this is called the short circuit, or they say interference or breaking the line or something like that. That's what it is called. Anyway, so queen h3 is a brilliant move here, guys. Queen h3 in this position. Queen h3 is just fab, because that ensures support for the rook, that ensures attack on two pieces at the same time. That is why I'm saying this is just better. And now one of the pieces definitely will go away. So what will black do here? Black is already a piece up, so giving the piece back should not be a problem. So let's bringing in additional support. Now after this, black will play this, because now you see the number of times it is attacked and defended. So this piece here has been defended. This piece here has been defended 3 times, and it will be attacked also 3 times. There's a lot of pressure against that. Okay. And now the knight on c3 is free to actually do the damage. And now the knight comes into play and big deal. Okay. After knight b5, there is really no defense that black will have, because all the defenses are tied to the bishop on g5. Now going back to a comment from Sarup, he says after queen h3, after queen to h3, why not just play the pawn to h6? Well, that is one of the candidate moves, because still the queen takes it, and now this pawn is pinned. So mind you that again this piece is actually looks like it's defended twice, but mind you the pawn is pinned. So let's say again black will have to bring the rook in order to defend the bishop. Here is now the big deal. Rook takes, watch this guys, rook takes, watch this line, queen takes, and now in chess there's this popular thing. When the piece moves, the piece stops doing something that the piece was doing. And now there is queen takes f7, and white is a clear piece up here. Okay? It's a very, very important thing. Very, very important thing. Let's go ahead. Is there any other line that we would like to consider? No, the same applies even if rook g7, is it not? Same thing applies. We'll take the knight. Then again he has to defend. And now Saumitra's move is ultra powerful. You play h4. Takes. 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 Now let's see, you can calculate mate in 3 from here. Mate in 3 from here, guys. What? Mate in 3 from here. White to play and mate in 3 from here. From the position that you have on your screen, it's mate in 3 from here. By the way, you can take this as a homework because it's already 7. It's time for us. Take this position as homework, guys. We'll stop for now. Take this position as homework. I said that. But yes, now one more thing is, yeah, the graphics are all serving us well. I'm really very happy about it. We will continue this. We will